question just as straightforward. What is your candidate's plan on taxes?
I suppose I start with this.
Yes, that's right. So now we'll change seats.
Okay. Romney's plan on taxes. First, don't raise taxes. You don't raise taxes in a recession. Even Obama said that before he started to run again for president. And so you don't raise taxes on anyone, including the higher incomes. Obama is fond of saying the millionaires and the billionaires, but no, he wants to raise taxes on folks making $250,000 or more, which includes the most important of the small business owners, the people who create jobs in our economy. Second of all, what Romney wants to do is reform the tax code. He wants to lower the rates while at the same time getting rid of the loopholes. Loopholes distort the economy. They push the economy in some directions rather than in other and determine what gets made and what gets sold instead of allowing the marketplace and ordinary people to make these decisions. Romney is trying to empower the people, all of the people, with a tax policy that makes sense and stops picking winners and losers in Washington. He wants ordinary people to be given the opportunity to succeed or fail on their own. Because he knows what history shows is that when you do that, you get enormous prosperity. We often put down the economy of the United States, but guess what? This is the most prosperous large country in the history of the world. And it's been done with capitalism and simply saying, oh, we want to get rid of capitalism because it just isn't fair enough. So basically what we're going to do, using the tax policy, is kill the golden goose. Well, why do we want to do that? Are we a society that believes in envy? Are we a society that says if other folks have more, we need to take it away from them? Or are we a society that says give everybody opportunity and let them rise as high as they can go? I and Romney vote for the latter.
Thank you, Dr. Fein, and now Dr. White.
All right, let me see if I can address some of the previous points just briefly. The idea that we would look to the 1920s as an economic model, to me, is problematic because, again, what followed that was the Great Depression. If we go to JFK's policy, you have to remember that the tax rates were much larger than 38, 36%. So he's talking about taking it from very high to much lower. That's a different story than what Obama is talking about, which is going back to the Bill Clinton policies that you just referenced as positive. And now the Republicans are standing in the way of going back to the Clinton model. In terms of taxes, this is the biggest boondoggle regarding what Romney is selling that I have almost ever seen. If I may use a metaphor, he is trying to sell us a couch and telling you it's the most comfortable couch in the world, but you can't sit on it until you buy it. Trust me, I'll work with the couch makers and the distributors. We'll get together and make it perfect. He's going to lower all taxes 20%. That's going to pass Congress because they're happy to lower your taxes. Then he says he's going to work with Congress to close loopholes and deductions, which economists tell us aren't there to pay for it. And furthermore, he's promising a revenue-neutral tax plan. What's the point? If it's revenue neutral, why even bother? We're still going to be stuck. Plus, you add the military spending he's going to increase that they're not asking for. It's projected to create a $7 trillion hole in the in the deficit. The idea, furthermore, that Romney is for all the people and for opportunity is suspect, given the tape that came out indicating he's writing off 40% of the population altogether as moochers. The idea that Obama is against small businesses is suspect as well, because depending on how you create a small business, a large corporation can technically be a small business. 80% of small businesses are winning under the Obama plan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do I have an opportunity to rebut a little bit?
That's what I said last time.
Okay. You can rebut me a little bit, okay? Let me tell you about the Great Depression. The Great Depression did not come from the Republican policies led by Melvyn in the 1920s. No, the Great Depression became a Great Depression because Hoover and then Roosevelt followed a very different set of rules. What they did, hey, hold on. They raised taxes in a depression. Just what Obama and his guys are projecting. They raised them to 90%, hey, because the rich people, they could afford it and it would fix it. You know what then happened? They collected half the revenue. You think, oh, you raise taxes, you're going to get more money. No, if people aren't investing, if they're not creating businesses, you get less taxes and you get less money. This is elementary economics, but Obama, who's always talking about math, evidently, and according to his own testimony, when asked about doing homework for his daughter, said he really isn't any good at math. He never really got past the 7th grade. Damn, I think that's true.
Thank you. So I don't know, Dr. White, would you like those extra seconds? Or do we move on to healthcare?
I would just.
You have them. Is it the
How long do I have?
seconds?
We're making up rules now.
That's right, exactly. Well, since we went, well, let's just say a minute.
Okay.
That's what we had here.
Sort of like how Romney pulled out $25,000 of tax credits off the top of his head at the debate. We'll just pick a number. 1 minute. Romney's experience in business, it did start with his father in the beginning. And his advice to young people is to borrow from your parents to open a business or to go to school. That's just out of touch with the way most Americans live their lives. When Romney started, he was someone who invested in businesses and then hoped they make later. And then he moved into what we call venture capital. And what he did was buy businesses on a credit card by putting 5% down and the rest on debt. And then he would get a controlling stake in that company and move the debt to that company. And then he would charge that company management fees for Bain services to tell you who to fire. And then that company has to pay off that debt plus the fees. If they made it, Bain Capital would make a profit. If they didn't, Bain Capital would still make a profit. Romney's other success is the Olympics. He spent more on that Winter Games than any other Olympics in our history. So if you want someone who can create debt and spend money, Romney's your guy.
Thank you. No, we need to stop.
Yes,
Okay, in order to...
What's the next question?
It's going to be about healthcare. For us to be good competitors in the system, we need to be healthy. So, let's talk a little bit. Oh, okay. This is my phone, here, my mic. So that's what the next question is about. Healthcare. This has been an issue, considered very important on both sides. Healthcare costs have been rising for a while. So what is your candidate's position on healthcare? So we can expand here.
As I was saying, I guess the Democrats don't like rich presidents. Guess what? I guess that disqualified Franklin D. Roosevelt. I guess that disqualified John Kennedy. I guess that disqualified Kerry when he was running for office. All of them were quite rich. Didn't seem to bother Democrats one bit. Second of all, if making money was so darn easy, then why the heck isn't everyone else doing it? How come only Romney was able to figure out how to do it? And if he was such a scoundrel, how did he get away with it for so long? Well, I won't go into the details, but what you heard was an absolute caricature of what Romney did. Now, as to health care. Health care is a problem. We all acknowledge it's a problem. The present system is, in fact, partly broken. In one respect, it's not broken. We do have the best health care in the world. And guess what? Even poor people get good health care, but they get it in a very, you laugh, but in fact they do get good health care. They go to the emergency rooms and they get reasonably good health care. Yes, they do. But it's awkward and cumbersome and not very efficient way to do it. So we did need to fix it. And so what did Obama give us? An even more awkward and cumbersome and expensive fix. Yes, we need to be able to help the poor better than we do today, but we need a way that works, and we need something using the market economy. Obama believes in government. He believes in government. Everything comes from the government because only people like him are brilliant enough to understand what we need. I and Randy believe that a market system in which millions of people contribute through competition will give us a far better healthcare system. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fein. Dr. White.
Okay. The founders believed in government. And if you read Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution, in it you will see that the founders contemplated regulation, which is all Obama is proposing, regulation. He's not a socialist by socialist definitions. He's a capitalist. He just believes that people should be able to play by the same rules that are fair and not have moneyed interests be able to write special rules through influence and lobbying in Congress. It's easy to make money if you have money. And so if you don't, then it's hard. You can't pull yourself up by your own boots if you don't have boots to begin with. On healthcare, Obama has done something that no other president has been able to do in our lifetimes, and that is address healthcare. They all talk about it, and they're never able to deliver on it, and he got it done. And he was criticized for not giving a positive direction or clear direction, but he had the audacity to think that Congress was in charge of legislation, and so he gave Congress some principles and said, make it happen. And what we got out of that was the sausage making that is our system, but it got done. And you can always amend it later, but at least we have it. And what it is not a government takeover of the system. It is a private insurance plan. It is the Bob Dole plan of the 90s. It insures 40 million people who would otherwise not have insurance. Now, Romney says he's in favor of things like not discriminating against people for having pre-existing conditions, but he has no plan to pay for it other than the individual mandate, which is the only way you can pay for it. He also says that he'll repeal Obamacare on his first day of office. Well, it's not even a policy issue, it's that he can't do it. He's the President of the United States. You cannot veto or undo laws that are passed by Congress.
Rebuttal.
Rebuttal?
Rebuttal.
Wait, stand it again? So we add to the top over here.